Hello, I'm Sarah and I'm the Catering Crew's patissier. Today I'm going to show you how to make a very quick soft scoop ice cream like we make for our catering events. It's only 4 ingredients in 30 minutes. So to start with, we have double cream, milk, caster sugar and vanilla paste. Usually with ours we like to use whole vanilla pods, but today for ease of use it's the paste. So we're going to start by nicely taking off our lid for the cream and straight into a bowl. Now you can either use a hand whisk, or, because I'm quite lazy, I'm using our Kenwood today. So in with one. These are half pint or 300 millilitres. And straight in with the other. Then, because again I'm lazy, I'm not going to use a cup, so I'm going to use the tubs. 1 cup or tub of the milk in, and half a tub of sugar. Now this is caster sugar, so it's finer than granulated. You don't want granulated in patisserie. In we go. Just scrape out the rest. Not being too fussy because we're at home today, so a bit of mess isn't a problem. Right. So we're not going to add our paste yet, because if you add flavourings to your cream, often it'll be a bit of a mess. It'll alter the balance and the chemistry of it, and it won't be a pretty sight. So down and give it a good whip up until it's fairly thick, not a heavy whip. We don't want to sort of make it all granular. So about sort of 5 minutes or so, just give it a whip up. Slow to start. Get everything mixed in. And then give it a good mix up. That looks about done. So you basically want the cream so it's holding its shape, not too thick, you see, it's not running off the whisk, but spreadable like you were making a Victoria sponge cake. This is where we now pour it into our machine. Like I said, this was a baby machine, so not all of this is going to fit in, of course. So we're going to spoon it in bit by bit. As you can see, this is already running, it's already cold. What you don't want to do is have your machine cold and not running. What you're going to do then is basically stop your blades from moving if you put it in. So we don't want to overfill the machine either, because then we're going to cause a bit of trouble. I think that is about it really. So as you can see, there's not an awful lot left, but what we can do is pop that in the fridge covered, and as you can see when my cameraman follows me into the ice cream machine, that it is almost at a Mr. Whippy stage, like you'd find in your ice cream van. So this won't be far off adding our flavourings. So just to have a quick talk about flavourings. Like I said, we're using vanilla, but you can use fruit syrups, rum and raisin, your classic flavours. If you're using a fruit syrup, you must make sure that you have, sort of, if you're using fresh fruit, you pick it, you slice it quite thin, and you make a stock syrup with it. Now that's adding sugar, and sometimes you need to add a bit of water just to loosen and break down the fruit. But you must make sure it's thick, like sort of the consistency of golden syrup, treacle, that sort of thing. And it has to be cold. So really preparing that the night before would be preferable. Another thing to bear in mind as well is you cannot add too much of it. You'll alter the consistency and you'll end up with a very runny, very hard ice cream. Likewise with alcohol, you can't add too much because again it will not set. You will have a very messy ice cream. Fun but messy. So I think this is about at the stage now for adding our vanilla. Like I said, we normally use vanilla pods in catering. Today we're at home, so we have this paste. So what it is basically a bit of syrup and the pods from inside the vanilla. Amazing flavour still, but we're going to add probably, I'm quite generous here, I quite like vanilla, so a good couple of teaspoons at least. There's nothing worse than having an ice cream which isn't full of flavour. So as you can see from this as well, we can start to see the flecks of vanilla when this will eventually come off the spoon. And this will obviously make it look, you know, you can visually see as well that that's got a nice amount of pod in there. I think we'll just add a tiny bit more because the appearance isn't so fantastic. There we go. Let that mix in now until we're ready to tub up. This is about ready, I would say. If you can hear on your end the sound of the motor, it's changed. Obviously it's got a lot more viscous. So what we don't really want to do is just immediately stop it because it will lock up and you'll end up damaging your machine. So I'll take the lid off, and as you can see we've got a nifty little handling hours. Don't do what I thought as a very young pastry chef and thought that I had to pick the whole machine up to be able to scoop it out. You can usually just take your bowl straight out as well. So what we'll do is just stop it and lift out. There we go. So we want to take this out, and at this stage, if you're making something like rum and raisin ice cream with raisins in or nuts, it's at this stage where you want to be mixing it in. Obviously you don't want to put them in when you're churning your ice cream. You'll end up locking the paddle. So we're going to scoop this off as quickly as we can. We want to get this in the freezer very quickly before it starts to melt. Otherwise you'll end up with very big ice crystals and it won't be very nice. Okay, just get the last few bits from outside the bowl. As you can see, it's quite nice to eat already, but a little bit too soft scoop. So, spit off. Very messy part. So what we want to do now is very quickly cover it in a layer of cling film. So you know when you buy your ice cream and you've already had a bit of a scoop out of it, and you get the ice crystals forming on top, it's really not very nice. So we want to just stop that from happening and resting some cling film on top. There we go. Lid on and straight in the freezer where it will keep for about a week to 2 weeks. So that's it. Obviously it requires a taste, of course, which you've always got to do, chef's perks. And we have a general rule in this house that our chief tester must taste everything. This is it. Come on. There we go. Does he approve? think that's a yes.